My family forces me to babysit during vacation because it's free, so I paid for myself.
What?
Yeah, what? I, 23 male, was repeatedly stuck playing the part of helper and babysitter on family outings. I had to move out of my parents' house because I kept being forced to help watch my 3 nephews. By the way, this comes from user No Ride Throwaway on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, last year we took a family vacation in summer to the coast. I rode along with my parents and they paid for my hotel room. Only I had to share that room with 3 rowdy boys because my sister and her husband wanted a room to themselves. I was promised time to do my own things on the vacation, but instead, I ended up having to help with these kids. I complained to everyone about it and was reminded I was there for free. Then we pretty much just did only one thing that I wanted to do, which was tour an art gallery. I like doing this whenever I'm at the coast, but the kids find it boring. This year, my parents have a beach trip planned for June, and they assumed I'd be riding along the same way as I did last year, but I refused. I said I'd be driving myself and paying for my own hotel stay to have my own room. My parents were shocked and tried to remind me of the cost. I said it was no worry. I've got a good job and a decent running car. I can more than afford it. That is when the buts started. I stated the previously listed things as why I'll be driving myself and paying for myself. I want to be able to enjoy this vacation as an adult and not be treated like a child like last year. My parents told my sister and she called to blow up at me that I'll be ruining the vacation if I'm off doing my own thing while she has to wrangle her 3 boys. I ended up yelling at her that last year all she did was rope me into her mess. I didn't really get to do much of anything I wanted to do, and I was treated like the bad guy for wanting to go to an art gallery. I'm a grown man. I deserve my vacation too. Now, my sister is not speaking to me, and my parents are still trying to convince me to just ride with them to keep the peace. I'm still refusing, but the pressure is getting to me. Am I the a-hole for not giving it? I know they'll have a pretty hard time when they won't have another person there to help. It's barely been an hour since I posted. This is an edit, but my sister is apparently a Reddit lurker in the mornings and she saw my post. Not only is she furious with me, but she's also upset no one in the comments is siding with her.
She's like, I can't believe you would post about me and also that no one agrees with me.
Yeah. To make it short, she went on a big rant about how it's so hard to be a parent to triplets. And the least I could do is help because I'm young and single and she needs a break. I stood my ground on this decision and now she's calling our parents to get them involved. I'm expecting a call from them any minute and we have an update, so I bet you I know who called. Well, I'm off work now so I can tell more of what went down. I guess you could say it's over. I guess you could say it's
Our family's
over.
done.
It's so over. We're done.
It's Jover.
My sister got our parents involved and they looked at my post and were absolutely horrified by the continuous influx of commenters. Yes, they're very angry with me that I posted here, but I told them that if they just listened to me to begin with, I'd never have needed to. I'm sick of the whole keep the peace mentality that sacrifices me to placate my sister. They in turn went off on my sister.
Okay, cool.
And to make a long story short, the whole vacation has been canceled.
Oh, not cool.
Oh, everyone lost.
Yeah, look what you did, sister.
But the hotel wasn't booked anyway. So
You should go on a vacation, OP.
you should
If
go
you
on a
can
vacation
afford
all
it.
by yourself. You can do that. You're 24.
Yeah.
You can go do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want.
As long as you're not neglecting your responsibilities and obligations. My parents are arguing with my sister, and my sister is blaming me, and my nephews are crying because they aren't going to the beach. My sister called me at lunch and basically implied I have no life, which is why I have time to help. I recorded that and told our parents, and that's currently what they're fighting about. Here's a small update. I wasn't going to update again, but you know me, I just had to. Parents said that they won't ever push babysitting of my nephews on me again, and have agreed that what happened last year was unfair to me. Right now, they are very angry with my sister for telling me I should help her because she thinks I have no life. My sister is playing the victim, and my brother-in-law is basically saying nuh-uh to the whole mess and spending most of his time at work. Thank you to everyone who's commented. You made my day. And we have an update. A week ago, I made this throwaway account to ask, am I the a-hole? A question I was found to be anything but the a-hole in. I have too much to say to post in I Am the A-hole as an update, so a friend recommended I come here. My post opened a Pandora's box in the family. Basically, my parents and older sister have become very comfortable with me helping with the childcare of my young triplet nephews. I didn't leave home until I was 22 because I was trying to save money while also going to college. A scholarship covered a lot, and living at home kept me from getting rising debt due to my working part-time as well. I'm very thankful for this. However, after college, everyone just seemed to act like I had endless time on my hands and convinced me along on a family vacation. In this so-called vacation, I was forced to babysit my 3, at the time, 6-year-old nephews.
That's so many 6-year-olds.
Yes, I even had to share a hotel room with them.
Oh, that's so many 6-year-olds.
3 6-year-olds in a hotel room. One of them is not making it. I'm sacrificing one to the pool. I'm sacrificing another one to like the laundry room. Whichever one to make the ancient gods give me peace of mind.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah. I even had to share a hotel room with them, and believe me, those kids did not listen to a dang thing I said on the first night until I called their mother twice, and I was treated like the bad guy for wanting to do other things during the trip. Like if it's something the family doesn't enjoy as a whole, then it doesn't happen, which was extremely hypocritical because I'm family and wasn't included in that vote. And you can bet I aired this grievance with my parents after my last post, and they've acknowledged being in the wrong. After that awful vacation last year, I decided it was time to move out, and did so before the summer ended, which surprised everyone as I gave them no warning. I'd landed a great job pretty much right after college thanks to an internship, and used moving as an excuse to drop my commute from 45 minutes to 15. My sister hated this the most because it meant no more free babysitting on weekends, but she still tried to make me do it. I caved sometimes, usually by being bribed with pizza, and this sort of became the new norm. But then last month, my parents announced plans for another family vacation to the same place along the coast. And they basically wanted it to go the same way.
They didn't learn anything. They didn't learn anything.
It sounds like they are very hard-headed.
Yeah.
I immediately saw it for what it was. It's a trap!
It's a trap!
I knew that if I rode with my parents and let them buy the hotel rooms, I would be screwed over the same way I was last time. So I just casually stated I'd drive myself and pay for myself. And that's when the doo-doo storm began.
It's already beginning.
It's begun! When my parents realized they couldn't entrap me like before, they resorted to borderline begging. And my sister practically tried to order me to go with the flow through gaslighting. Newsflash. I didn't. Have these people not ever heard of hiring a babysitter?
No.
Is there nobody on earth who can look your kids?
That they're going to.
Yeah.
Not a single one.
Sorry. No babysitters allowed, actually.
No babysitters allowed. It's no shoes, no shirt, no babysitter.
No shoes, no shirt, no neglected children, no service.
No service.
You have to.
Gotta neglect
them.
them.
You gotta neglect those kids. You gotta leave those kids alone in a room.
Can't have a babysitter here.
After I didn't cave to my sister's demands, I made the post after days of harassment. And then my sister somehow spotted that post in less than an hour. What followed was Pandora's box. At first, the family was against me. My sister called our parents, and they called me when I still had a little time to talk in the morning. My parents were on the phone with me while also reading my post. I asked them if anything in the post was a lie. They sort of steered around that and called the post an exaggeration, but I pointed out numerous details that made it pretty much on the mark. Then I told them to check the comments. There were already far too many to read, and I was repeatedly refreshing the page on my home PC, telling them how many comments there were. Then I told them I was sick of their mentality of keeping the peace by forcing me to placate my sister. Then I said I was out of time and we would have to reschedule this later. Yeah, that was a classy move.
Gotta go. So you can call my agent if you want to continue this conversation about you guys not paying me for my babysitting.
Yeah, looks like that life that I have is actually popping up and I'm going to have to go here. Maybe I can squeeze you in between, I don't know, like 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I don't know. I have like so many things going on in my life.
Yeah.
I'll give you a quick 5. I said I was out of time and would have to resume this later. Well, my parents were positively horrified that hundreds, if not thousands of people were commenting in a matter of hours. And later on, I told them that the number had basically doubled and was still growing, which only added to their horror. So I guess they were forced to take a long look at their own actions. My sister tried to call me a bee while I was at work, but my phone was on silent until my lunch break, so all she could do was leave messages and texts. But she was persistent and managed to get through to me when I was eating my lunch. The gist of the conversation was my post had taken our parents away from her side, and now they were mad at her.
Shocking.
Whoa. In the ensuing argument between them, my parents canceled the entire vacation. Yes, they later acknowledged that they just passed the blame out of embarrassment and have fully accepted fault. They told me no excuses could excuse the fact that they made their go-to free babysitter when I wasn't even living at home anymore. They did try to backtrack a little by pointing out they never charged me rent while I was in college, but I reminded them kids don't ask to be born, and I was doing my hardest to make my own way. Then I pointed out my father had the same kind of leg up from his parents. They let him live free of charge at home while he was in college. That basically ended any argument my parents had left. After arguing with my parents, my sister dug her heels in, blamed me, and doubled down on her belief that my life should circle around hers. I told her that was the most narcissistic and entitled thing she's ever said about me, and it took days, but her husband finally stepped in and forced her to apologize to me. I'd never seen her cowed like that by anyone, but she was on the verge of crying. It ended up being admitted that one of the reasons I was the go-to babysitter was because my sister didn't trust strangers. It was never about the money. Or was it? Actually, my brother-in-law thought my sister was paying me for my time watching her kids after I moved out of my parents' house. She didn't even give me gas money, just gave me cash that was enough to order pizza for both myself and the kids and pocketed the rest.
So he thought, he was like, oh yeah, you were getting paid the whole time. Why are you complaining? And Opie's like, no.
Here's the thing,
no.
Chief. I haven't been paid anything. Maybe you should, seek some back pay on that. So, my sister had been shortchanging me for months. He blew up at her when this came out during her half-bootied apology, and she was forced to pay me what she owed me in cash entirely from her own savings, which she looked very sore about. And if you want to listen to more stories just like this one, all you have to do is go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. And there you will find a treasure trove of stories. Just like this one.
Just like this.
And there is a little bit more story.
Mrs. Rainbow says, no, she was pocketing the money. That's ridiculous. Like, you're literally stealing from your brother?
Yeah, it's like, what's the dynamic there?
I don't know. They
know.
must
It's
hate
like,
each other.
She hates the child. Then my brother-in-law apologized to me for his own inaction in letting my sister walk all over me. He promised that they'd get a normal babysitter from now on. Yes, it'll cause a bit of a drop in the bucket for them, but my sister will be getting date nights back. Then came the family meeting the other day's evening. We all gathered up at my parents' house and everything was laid bare. Apologies all around and whatnot, and then my parents reinstated the family vacation. And yes, I still plan to drive myself and pay for my own hotel. I'll even stay in a completely different hotel if my sister tries to revert me to childcare. And I have stated this. She's promised me that won't happen, and if I don't update again after the vacation, then y'all know everything is fine. And that
is the end?
The end
Everything's
of that story,
fine.
which means everything's just fine.
We love to